The Perth Wildcats have made the decision not to bring in a new import. They missed the deadline last night, and I think it was planned that they weren't actually going to be able to find somebody in time. But let's talk about why this is the case. I don't think it's as catastrophic as a lot of people seem to think it is for the Wildcats because they're on a pretty good run right now. They've won the last 5 out of 6 games, and they don't look terrible without that point guard. I know it would help, but they're not at a point where like they're just dropping every single game. They're falling apart. Everything's just going downhill for them. They're in a pretty good position considering where a lot of other teams are right now. And some of the other bigger news that's coming out of this story, like Olgun's been reporting on it, NBL Play's been reporting on it, like pretty much everybody that does Perth media has been reporting on it, is the fact that David Duke Jr.'s initial report of like missing the rest of the season to the playoffs may not be accurate, and there is an actual chance he returns before the end of the season, which is a big win for the Wildcats. And I know it's like cost saver, and people are like, oh, you got to spend the money to win, but like if you don't need to not spend it for reasons and then like keep your players happy, and you're not just bringing somebody in for a couple of games and then you not end up playing them because they're not part of the full-time like rotation or anything, kind of like how TJ Leaf came in for the Jack Jumpers, which seemed like a really smart idea at the time, but then as the games went on he was playing less and less, and it was just like, why is he still on the roster if you don't want to actually give him the minutes to contribute? And that's like the bigger reason I think they didn't go for it, because it is a bit of like a catch 22 when you bring in this like other import for only a few games, and they've got to pretty much move their life to move across the world to play 5 or 6 games for the Wildcats, and then they're just being shipped out because David Duke Jr. is back. Like if I was a basketball player, I wouldn't really want to do that. I don't think the money would be worth it unless you're giving me an absolute bag, which I don't think the Wildcats wanted to spend an absolute bag for somebody to come in and play 5 or 6 games and may not even get a lot of minutes. I do think the Wildcats will be fine. I don't think it would have changed much anyway. I think they're going to end up as the 4th seed. The way that Melbourne's playing, the way that Wildcats are playing, I think they're going to jump them, and I think that's probably where they're going to end up, no matter if they brought in an import or not. So it's kind of a safer option just to let you guys play, let them get their reps up as well, like help Ben Henshaw, Elijah Peppers to find their footing again. Even bring in like Dante Russo needs more minutes. He played a couple minutes last night against the Hawks. He didn't look bad. He looked a bit better. Let him play some more minutes, get his reps up to prove that he does belong in the NBL, which I think he should get at least a bit more of a shot. I know you're missing Jaron Riley for the season, which is heartbreaking for the Wildcats, and that's not where you want to be, losing your actual true point guard of the team. But I don't think it's the end of the season, and I also don't think this is if the Wildcats lose this season, everything's just fallen apart, because most of their core is coming back next year. Wildcats fan, let me know how you're feeling about this after all these shenanigans have gone down.